Hi, this is Lee Ellis with another installment of Leading with Honor Coaching. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. I'm sure you've heard that. That's a famous saying by the leadership expert of the 60s, 70s, 80s, Peter Drucker. And you hear it everywhere now. But what does that really mean? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Well, one thing that comes to my mind also is Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, where he has the yin and yang diagram. On one side is preserve the core, and on the other side is stimulate progress. And what he's really saying there is that in crisis and in change, which we're always going through, more seems like faster and faster, but during those periods we need to preserve the core. And the core he's talking about there are our core purpose and our core values. And that's a big chunk of what our culture really is built around. So culture is very important. Culture is like the carrot and the stick. Or you could say it's like glue that holds us together. But it's also guardrails that kind of keep us inside the boundaries where we want to be. So whatever your mindset is about culture, I want you to think about it very carefully as we walk through this month. Now, last month I talked about culture, the national culture, and some of the concerns I had about our society and culture there. This month, I want to take that right down to you and your workplace. As a leader, you're responsible for the culture. Now, here's the thing. Leaders have to own it. You have to own it, and then you have to define it. So what is your culture you want to be? What are your values? What are the ones that you're committed to that really apply in the workplace? So once you define that, and you have to define it very clearly, you can't just be waffly on it. You have to understand what the culture really should be and what the values are. What is the purpose of your organization? What's the mission? Now, the mission may change, so it's not entirely going to be concrete and permanent for your culture, but it will be certainly guiding it. Now, you as a leader, you have to own it. That's the first thing. Leaders have to own it. Secondly, you have to clarify it, because people won't know what you're expecting. You have to clarify it over and over and over again, and really that's a big part of your responsibility, is to clarify that culture once you've defined it. And thirdly, you have to make sure that you enforce it, because everybody is not going to automatically fall in line. But yet you have to draw the line and say, this is the culture that we live in. This is what we do around here. These are the ground rules, these are the boundaries, and these are the expectations. And when people don't do that, then you have to have some consequences. And you need to think that through. Obviously, everything has to be in proportion. I remember a bad experience I had where the leader tried to enforce the consequences on me for something I didn't know about. I was new. I'd just come back from the war. I'd gotten requalified. I checked into my new squadron. And about the second week I was there, I got called into the squadron commander's office. And he started chewing me out because there was a rule that every Friday was inspection day in the equipment shop, and our helmets had to be polished and cleaned. And mine had a little smear of grease pencil or something on it, a little smear on it. And I got written up for it and reported to him. And now I'm a new guy in the squadron, and the squadron commander is chewing me out because I didn't pass the inspection. Well, I really lost respect for him, because he was a good person, but he was out of line because I hadn't even been told what the rule was, and yet I was being held accountable to it. So make sure you do define it, but then also hold people accountable and do it in a way that's caring, that's humble, respectful, but yet clear and strong. And when you do that, it becomes across very quickly. So finally, what you really need to understand is that you own it, leader. You're the person who owns it, and you have to think about it, clarify it, and then make sure everybody's following it. Now, one of the problems is that you also have to live it too, by the way. And if you don't live it, people are going to notice right away that you're violating your own culture. So if you make a mistake, you need to own it quickly. And when you own it, apologize or whatever you need to do, but you take responsibility for that mistake of not living up to the culture. When you let people know that you've seen that and you take responsibility for it and you're going to work on it not happening again, Instead of your reputation and your honor going down, it goes up. People trust you more because they see you as being authentic and genuine. So be real, be authentic, be genuine, define your culture, live it, and help others live it. And then you have not only the glue, but the guardrails that will keep your organization running smoothly. And really, that's what you want, because then you can perform regardless of how the culture outside changes, regardless of how the world changes and how the business pace may change. You'll be ready to meet those challenges and shine and be at the top of your game. Well, I hope you think about what your role is in that. Take action, and look forward to seeing you next month. Take care, and God bless.